Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Accidental Beauty. If you're new, welcome. My name's Laura. I'm a self-taught makeup enthusiast who actually really enjoys piercings. I feel like most of the time you can't actually see because I've got like either my hair covering my ears or I'm wearing a wig, and oftentimes those are covering my ears. But yeah, I just got two new piercings. I'll just zoom in so you can see. All right, so you can see the metal balls, but I got this guy and I got this guy. My ear's a little red right now because I kept touching it. I was just filming two hair product testing videos, and I kept like tucking my hair or moving my hair from behind my ear, and I kept jostling it. So that's why it's a little red. It's a little angry with me right now. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about my experience getting two piercings at the same time at Bini Tattoo and Piercing Studio. This is really only relevant if you live in Toronto, but I feel like they're a newer studio, but maybe not. Maybe they just opened a couple new locations. I'm not really sure. I haven't really heard of them, but I also haven't gotten a piercing in a really long time. So anyways, long story short, if you guys want to hear my thoughts and impressions getting pierced at this place, then please keep on watching. Recorded a little bit of a vlog, so we'll just cut to that. Yes. Vlog. Okay, so it is done and it looks so good. Very happy. So I'll just talk a little bit about my experience. So I got my piercings done. So I'm filming this April 2nd. So about 2 weeks ago, I got my piercings done March 14th at Bini, I don't know how to pronounce it, Tattoo and Piercing Studio at Yonge and Sheppard, literally like right next to the subway station. I had been thinking about getting another piercing for a while, so just to go over the piercings that I currently have. Okay, so I got two standard lobe piercings on each ear. I've also got my second lobe piercing on either ear, and then I've got an industrial, and then I've got my nose pierced. Normally I wear a stud, but I've been trying out this hoop and I actually like it. So I've wanted more piercings for a while. I wasn't sure what to get. I definitely had been interested in a cartilage piercing, but then I also like the look of like the, like when you wear like hoops like all the way up your ears. Just put a picture on the screen. I really like that look. I've wanted to do that for a while, but also piercings aren't super cheap. So I wasn't sure how much I wanted to spend on this. I think also what happened was, I started working full time because around that time I also started to experiment with my hair. So I started bleaching it, I started dyeing it all sorts of colors. Then my hair kind of started falling out because I over bleached it. So then I started going to a salon to get my hair bleached. And even though I was dyeing it myself, just getting my hair bleached was getting to be kind of pricey. So I think that's probably why I didn't, I sort of put the piercings on hold. And then also if I was, messing around with bleach and stuff, I didn't want some to accidentally get on any healing piercings. And then also some hairdressers are gentler than others when they're like brushing your hair back. Like I've had my hair caught in my piercings, and like they've never like ripped out any piercings or anything like that, but like, they have like kind of tugged on them a little bit, and I didn't want that to happen, like especially with a fresh piercing. So I think that's probably why I waited. Also, like as someone who's still relatively new in kind of the workforce, when it comes to like job interviews, you just kind of want to make a good first impression. You don't want to scare off any potential employers. Even though I do work in a creative field, so like it is totally normal to have people with, crazy hair. Tattoos are super common in my industry. It stands to reason that piercings would be totally fine. But, when I was starting out in my industry, like, first couple years, like, I'd rather be bland looking than too, like, out there. Now that I've been working in my industry for a couple years, it's really not a big deal. Like, even now I work in a pretty corporate environment and they seem super chill. Like, there are a couple people in my company with crazy colored hair, so it doesn't bother me as much. And then, so I started looking, like, because also I've been giving my hair a break, this is my natural color now, I figured, you know what, I think now is a good time to start looking into piercings again. So I did a lot of research, looked at a lot of different ear piercings. I don't think I want to do any more face piercings. I'm really happy with my nose piercing. I sort of considered looking into getting my septum pierced, but because I still wear a mask every time I go into like a public place or like an indoor public place, even though we have lifted our mask mandates, I don't feel comfortable walking around without a mask. I just thought that a mask would be potentially introducing too much like bacteria because I'm like breathing out and then, it could sort of, all those like particles could get in my nose. So I didn't want to compromise the healing. Plus, because my mask is sitting like fairly tight on my nose, I didn't want it to like accidentally jostle any healing piercings or anything. Even though like it's sitting over here, like I want my piercing to breathe as much as possible. So I was looking at ear piercings. As I mentioned, I do want to have like all the piercings go up. I think that's a really cool look. So I was thinking, okay, I definitely want to get a third piercing on kind of the lobe area. But then also I really like the look of cartilage piercings. Like I like the look of just like a hoop or even just like one of those ones where it's, I'll just throw up a picture on screen where I think it's just like, it's a stud, but it's got like a long piece. So it looks like you've got this whole area pierced, but it's actually just one piercing and then it sort of goes across. But yeah, so I was looking at piercing studios that aren't too far. I live not quite in the suburbs, not quite midtown, and I didn't really want to go downtown. So I wanted something that isn't too far from my apartment. This Bini Tattoo and Piercing Studio kept coming up as like, I guess, one of those things on Instagram that like, you might be interested in this. So they kept showing up and I started getting ads from them on stories as well. And they have this thing every Tuesday. They have $25 piercings for any piercing. I think for industrial, because that's technically 2 piercings, like it's 2 holes, that one is $50, so it's $25 per hole. Normally, their prices range. If I can find them, I'll put up on screen their price ranges, which are still pretty standard. These prices are in Canadian dollars. I figure if you're watching this video, you probably live in Toronto. But $25 for a piercing is pretty enticing. So I figured I might as well get 2 for essentially the price of 1. So I was just kind of trying to figure out what would be good. I wanted them to be pretty spaced out as well so that, if one ended up getting, infected or just irritated, it wouldn't affect the other piercing. So I figured, okay, let's do one kind of down to here and then the other one can be somewhere else. So I was also looking at, I forgot what this one is called. I think it's like Forward Helix. I was looking at that one, but because I still wear a mask, I thought that one was definitely going to get irritated by just like the strap of my mask just on and off. So I thought maybe an inner ear one, like a rook or a doth. I think I'm saying that right. I thought those would be safe, but I just didn't want to deal with the like year-long healing process. It's a lot. I haven't ruled it out completely, and I still might go back to get that done. Whenever I go anywhere, I always look at reviews. So the reviews for the Yonge and Sheppard location of the Bini Tattoo and Piercing place were pretty good overall, although they did have a couple negative reviews that were like kind of a red flag for me. But I also take everything with a grain of salt. So someone said that they got a couple different piercings done at the same time and the piercer didn't change the needle or didn't clean the needle in between. There was also one, I think, where they said that it got infected or something. Like, I don't just read one negative review and think like, okay, yeah, it's a terrible place and rule it out. I also look at positive reviews, and the place got positive reviews overall. Like, I'd say about like 95% or so of the reviews that I read. Like, I read a lot of reviews. Most of the reviews were very positive. They said it was super clean. The piercer was super nice. All like sanitary precautions were taken, all of that. Oh yeah, another thing was that there were a couple reviews that said that the piercer wasn't super experienced. You know, if you're getting kind of a more basic piercing, it's fine, but if you're getting something a little bit more complicated, a little bit more intricate, the piercer like didn't know what they were doing. So I was like, okay, let's get pretty standard piercings. Let's take a risk, but like, you know, not everyone is gonna have a positive experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the place is bad, if that makes sense. The reviews generally seemed to suggest that it was positive. So I figured, okay, let's do a standard ear piercing, because that's like the most basic piercing. It's hard to mess that up if you like, you know, have done any kind of piercing course, I guess, if that makes sense. And let's do a cartilage or helix piercing, because that's like pretty much like after your standard ear piercing. I feel like that's the one that most people get next, between that and like a nose nostril piercing. I feel like those three are kind of the most common piercings. I figured let's do something not too complicated. Let's just feel out the place, see what it's like. You know, if I have a good experience, then I can always go back and get more piercings. My experience overall was honestly so positive. I went about an hour or so before they closed. It wasn't super busy. There's like, I think one person getting a tattoo. So they kind of have like, when you, it's on the second floor. So when you go up the stairs, you have the front desk like right in front of you. If you go one way, you have the tattoo parlor studio. And then if you go in the other way, they have separate rooms for piercing. It looked super clean, super modern. They were super, super friendly. Like, honestly, that was probably the nicest people that I've ever met at a tattoo and piercing place. I've gone to 2 other piercing places in the past, and like, they weren't mean, but they weren't the most like bubbly, friendly people. Like, they knew their stuff, but they were like kind of more stereotypical, like, yeah, what? Okay. You know, like very flat. These people were like super bubbly, super friendly. Considering that this was like 7 o'clock on like a Tuesday night, like they were just super bubbly, super energetic. Hi, are you here to like get a piercing? They were super, super friendly, very welcoming. There was someone, I think, paying when I walked in, and then I was the only person after that to get a piercing. They had me fill out like a sort of consent form, super standard. Pretty much like right after I completed that, I was taken into a room. They also let my husband film, which was super cool. Like, they were just super chill people. And then the piercer just kind of talked to me about like just my experience with piercings and stuff. So I told her, you know, I've got a few of them. And then I sort of took a break for a couple years, and now I'm back to get some more. I should note that my pain tolerance is pretty high. Like, not that I can't feel pain, but like I have a pretty high tolerance. She asked which order I wanted my piercings done. I said, doesn't matter, like whatever is easier.
Focus on your breathing now for me, okay? Take deep breath. Doing okay? Yeah, all good.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah. Jewelry coming in now.
Okay.
Back in, you weren't all done here. How was it?
That was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. When I got my industrial done, it was like double, so it was just
Yeah.
like there's the first one, and then oh, there's the second one. Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Industrial is not a funny one at all.
Yeah.
Go for it. Right. Just gonna pat your ear first. Okay. Take deep breath. Feeling okay there? How was this guy?
It's just a pinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easier than the one that we did.
I think this one actually hurt more than the
Okay.
cartilage, weirdly.
No, I heard that a lot too.
Yeah?
It's also the second one. Yeah, so your body's like freaking out. Are you trying to kill yourself?
Awesome. editing me here, I actually had to refilm this section because I messed up the order that she pierced me in. For some reason, my memory just remembered it in the reverse. So anyways, I'm just going to re-record this section. So she did the Helix piercing first. And honestly, it wasn't as big a deal as I thought. I sort of thought the pain would be on par with my industrial piercing just because it was going through cartilage. My industrial piercing, even though it didn't hurt as much as I thought it would hurt, the Helix hurt less than that. So honestly, like I would give it a 2 out of 10 on the pain scale. Again, I have a pretty high pain tolerance, so keep that in mind. It might hurt more for you, but anyways, for me, I didn't find it that painful. It was like quick, one and done, the end. Then after that, she did the Lobe piercing. So that one surprisingly hurt more than the Helix, even though it's going through mostly skin and maybe a little bit of cartilage up at that point. She said it was because, and you might be able to hear it in the clip that I had earlier of her actually piercing me. She said it might hurt a little bit more just because, you know, your adrenaline starts going, you sort of go into fight or flight mode because, you know, someone stuck a needle in your ear. So that's why it might hurt a little bit more than the first one. But it didn't hurt that badly regardless. Like it was probably about a 3 or a 4 out of 10 for me. So really not that bad. Really not that bad. I think honestly my nose probably hurt the most. Maybe my industrial actually going through, how did they do it? I think the second one, I can't remember which way they went, if they went up or down with it, but the second one I remember hurting more than the first poke. But yeah, those I think hurt more. Also, I guess because it's going through maybe thicker skin than here, but yeah, this one, honestly, neither of them hurt that much, which maybe that's why they're more popular piercings also, because they don't hurt as bad, I'm not sure. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was super clean. Honestly, no complaints about like cleanliness. The piercer, I didn't get her name, but she was just super friendly. Like I wasn't nervous at all. If you are a little bit like apprehensive, she like sort of talked throughout the whole thing to kind of like distract you also, which I think if you're kind of anxious, that's really good. Because I found when I got my industrial, I was like super like anxious for some reason, which like, I don't know why, because as I mentioned, like I have a high pain tolerance, so it's not like I was like scared of the pain, but I don't know, I was just like super freaked out for this one. The person who was piercing me did talk, but like I feel like if I had someone who's a bit more bubbly talking through and kind of distracting me, that might have helped me kind of like calm down a bit. Overall, my experience was super positive. Definitely recommend this place. They're just like super friendly, at least at this location. Can't speak for any of the other ones, but they were just super friendly, super like awesome. Everything looked clean. And also like $25 a piercing is an amazing deal. So if you can take advantage of that, I highly recommend it. I just had a really positive experience overall. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. If you guys have any piercings and, you know, recommend like as far as like the healing process, the whole piercing process, all of that, let me know. As I mentioned, I'm not planning to get more face piercings. I'm really looking at like ear piercings for the foreseeable future. So I don't know, if you have a piercing that the healing time was really good and just the overall experience was really good, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you've checked out this place before, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the place, or if my review helped you make a decision about whether to go there, just feel free to comment below. I also leave those in the description box below, so if you have any questions, that's where to look. Okay, a couple things actually that I forgot to mention. So she told me that the healing time for the standard ear piercing is 2 months. And then the Helix piercing, the cartilage one, is 6 months. She suggested that I get a antiseptic saline spray to use to clean the piercings, like from a drugstore. I bought that and it didn't even last me a week. They gave me a piece of paper with instructions when I left, like just like aftercare instructions, which is super helpful. So they have like a sort of like recipe, like instructions for how to make your own salt solution. So that's what I've been doing. Seems to be working fine. Like this guy down here, the ear piercing, is honestly most days feels pretty good. Doesn't seem super irritated. This guy up here, because I keep accidentally touching it, it just gets a little irritated. So when I don't touch it, it's fine. I had the same experience with my industrial piercing, so I'm not too concerned. It's only been like 2 weeks since I got it done anyways, so this is within normal for me. My industrial didn't stop hurting for like a good 6 to 8 months. It took a while. So I'm not super concerned. I, clean it twice a day. They actually said to clean it 3 times a day, which seems a little excessive in my opinion. And so far so good. Just really I try and keep the area clean and I try not to touch it. If you like the type of looks that I do here on my channel, normally they're a lot more bold than this. I'm sure you'll enjoy the content that I post on my other social media. I'll leave links in the description box below. And also, if you're wondering about any of the products that I have on my face today, I also leave those in the description box below. So if you have any questions, that's where to look. And if you enjoy the content that I post here on my channel and you want to see more, I'd love it if you could subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you'll get updated every time I post a new video. And I'll see you guys next time.